Dorian Sterling arrived at his penthouse apartment early, expecting the familiar silence. Instead, he froze at his father's bedroom door. Inside, a shocking scene unfolded. The maid, Amelia, was bent forward, his frail father, Mr. Sterling, clinging to her, both trembling on the edge of collapse. Sweat dripped from his brow. What looked scandalous at first glance was, in reality, a powerful truth about dignity, sacrifice, and loyalty that Dorian never saw coming. "Easy, Mr. Sterling. Slow." Amelia's voice was calm, but her arms burned. She braced her body like a wall, her black uniform stretched taut as she leaned forward against the white bed. Arthur Sterling clung to her, his gray head bent low, his linen shirt damp with sweat. His legs, once proud and steady, now trembled like brittle sticks. It had been 10 months since the stroke. 10 months since the man who once commanded boardrooms and construction sites had been lowered into the black wheelchair in the corner. 10 months of trying, failing, and starting all over again. "Just one more second on your feet," Amelia murmured, her cheek brushing the bedspread. "You're taller than yesterday." Arthur grunted, his breath rattling. "Taller? My knees are jelly. I feel like a drunk holding on for dear life." Her lips tightened. "Then let me be your balance. Don't fight me. Just lean." His fingers gripped her shoulder, not out of command, but out of desperate need. "I never thought I'd end up like this," he whispered. An old man hanging on to a girl half his size. Amelia pressed her heels into the marble floor, her back screaming under his weight. "You're not just an old man. You're fighting for your legs back. That matters." He laughed bitterly, the sound cracking. "Do you know what it feels like to go from walking into meetings with the world in your pocket to being strapped into that chair just to use the toilet? To need a maid to stand?" Amelia's throat closed. "I know what it feels like to lose dignity. Maybe not in the same way, but I know." He looked at her, sweat dripping down his temple. You're young, strong." Her arms shook, but she kept him upright. "Strong doesn't mean untouched. I grew up carrying more than I should have. Maybe that's why I can hold you now." Arthur's chest rose and fell hard. His voice softened. "I hate that my son sees me like this. He once looked at me like I was iron. Now he looks away, afraid of the truth." Amelia blinked away tears. "Then let me help you stand when he's not looking. So you remember who you are before he walks through that door." He leaned harder, unsteady, his legs quivering. She tightened her stance. "Careful," she urged. "I've got you, but you need to breathe with me. In, and out." He tried following her rhythm, but every breath sounded like gravel. "If I fall, you won't," she cut in firmly. "Because I'm not letting go." He swallowed, his voice breaking. "Why do you care so much, Amelia?" Her arms trembled, sweat dripping down her brow. "Because no one cared when I needed holding. And because you deserve more than pity. You deserve someone to believe in you." Arthur's lips quivered. "You sound like my late wife." Amelia's chest ached. "Then maybe she sent me." For a moment, the room went still. The only sound was the pounding of two hearts carrying each other's weight. Then Arthur's knees buckled suddenly. His body lurched, dragging Amelia forward with a sharp cry. "Mr. Sterling." She fought to hold him, her nails digging into the bedspread, her back nearly breaking. "Stay with me. Don't let go." His arm clamped around her shoulders, desperation clear. "Don't drop me, child. Please." "I won't," she gasped, straining, sweat soaking her apron. "I promised I wouldn't." They froze like that, his body bent over hers, her frame straining like a bridge about to collapse. His breath was hot against her neck, his voice trembling with shame. "This isn't how my son should see me," he whispered. Amelia shut her eyes, every muscle screaming. "Then he won't." We'll finish this, just you and me. But fate chose differently. The door creaked open. Heavy footsteps crossed the polished floor. The shadow of a tall figure stretched across the bed. Father? The voice was deep, controlled, but tinged with alarm. Amelia froze. She didn't need to look. She knew it was him. The son. Dorian Sterling. She was still bent forward, Arthur clinging to her from behind, both of them trembling. To a stranger, to a son unprepared, it looked like something else entirely. Amelia's arms trembled, every muscle in her back screamed as Arthur's knees buckled again. She tightened her grip and whispered through clenched teeth, "Just a little more, Mr. Sterling. The chair is right here. We can do this." Arthur groaned, his voice weak but resolute. "Steady me, child. Don't let me slip." Her shoes squeaked on the polished floor as she guided him down. His weight pressed her shoulders like iron, but inch by inch she lowered him until at last he sank into the black wheelchair. His chest rose and fell in ragged bursts, sweat streaking down his temple. Amelia stumbled back, collapsing against the bed frame, gasping for air. Her apron clung to her damp skin, her arms quivering from the effort. But she forced herself upright because she could already feel Dorian's eyes on her. Dorian Sterling stood in the doorway, his grey suit immaculate, his gaze sharp and unyielding. "What," he said slowly, "did I just see?" Amelia's throat tightened, words tangled inside her. She knew how it must have looked, her bent forward, Arthur leaning heavy against her. But the truth was simpler, harder, and far less scandalous. Before she could speak, Arthur lifted his head. His voice was weak but firm. "Don't look at her like that, Dorian. She was helping me. Helping you." Dorian's eyes narrowed. By putting herself in that position? By taking on a risk she shouldn't even be near? Amelia finally found her voice. There was no one else. The therapist was supposed to come this morning, but the session was cancelled again. Dorian's brow furrowed. Cancelled? Why? The house manager said it was too expensive to keep up twice a week, Amelia said, her voice trembling but steady with conviction. He told me to just manage. To follow the printed steps. The therapist left. I tried, sir. I did exactly what was written. But when Mr. Sterling's leg gave out, I had no choice but to brace him. She gestured to the folded paper lying on the nightstand. The therapist's instructions were there in bold black type: transfer protocol. Count to 3. Pivot chair angled at 45 degrees. Dorian walked over, snatching it up, his jaw clenched. The evidence was undeniable. Arthur placed a shaking hand over Amelia's. She didn't abandon me, son. She kept me from hitting the floor. Without her, you'd have walked in to find me broken on the ground. Amelia blinked away tears, forcing the words out. I didn't do it for thanks. I did it because he asked me not to let him give up. Dorian looked at his father, frail, damp with sweat, but upright in the chair, and then back at Amelia, her arms trembling, apron wrinkled, every detail screaming of struggle. His voice cracked. I thought something else. Arthur's eyes hardened. Then you thought wrong. And you should be ashamed of yourself. The room went still. Dorian lowered his head. He knelt beside the wheelchair, his polished shoes squeaking against the floor. Father. Amelia. I'm sorry. I misjudged what I saw. Arthur shook his head weakly. Don't apologize to me. Apologize to her. She's the one carrying my weight. Dorian turned to Amelia. I should have trusted you. Instead, I let my suspicion blind me. That won't happen again. She swallowed, her voice soft but firm. All I ask is that he gets the care he deserves. One person can't replace a therapist. It's dangerous for him and for me. Dorian's jaw tightened. The manager who cancelled these sessions is finished. I'll reinstate them immediately, and double them if necessary. And you," he looked straight into Amelia's tired eyes, "will never have to carry this alone again." Her lips trembled, relief breaking through the fear. "Thank you, sir." Arthur let out a shaky laugh, a sound both weak and proud. "Seems the boy still listens when it matters." Dorian's eyes softened. "I almost failed both of you today, but I'll make it right." He reached for the wheelchair handles, his hands steady, his expression resolute. For the first time in months, Arthur allowed himself to lean back, his pride intact. Amelia stood close by, one hand resting gently on Arthur's shoulder. She had given nearly all her strength, but the look in her eyes said she would do it again if it meant preserving his dignity. And for the first time, Dorian saw it clearly. Not scandal, not weakness, but loyalty and sacrifice. When suspicion blinds us, we risk destroying the very people who fight hardest for us. What did you think of the story?